want you to help and guide us. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
one and indivisible.
With liberty and justice for all.
Wrong pledge. Okay. Honor the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Got that. Forgot my glasses. All right. I'm going to go ahead and go to our citizens' comments, or is anyone want to make a comment outside of what they're on the agenda for? Okay. I go to the consent agenda, item A, and we have some minutes we need to approve.
On 2 months that I missed that I've got to do, I'll bring on next month's meeting. So that's last month's meeting there. Okay. For y'all.
I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Tahana, second by Edric, to approve the minutes. All those in favor? Good. Passed.
And Tahana sign those, please.
Yeah.
Mr. Tahana sign those.
I would like to know, does anyone have any objections to go ahead and move item B up to the top of the agenda so that we can go ahead and hear what they have to say and not... Would that be all right with you?
Absolutely.
Okay. Roy, do you have any objection with that?
Nope.
Dan?
No.
All right, go ahead and I'll turn the program over to the Peanut Festival.
Okay. Good evening. For those of you that know me, I am Rachel Rogers. I'm the president of the Floresville Peanut Festival Association. We also have first vice president with us this evening and board of director member, Mr. Rogers. Back in August of 2020, and prior to that, we had been in discussions with the 4A board to approve the use of the 4A license for the 2020 or 21 festival. As we know, it didn't happen in 2020, and of course, at that time when we said it would be, or the 2020, that's exactly what has happened. In preparation, with a lot of excitement and moving forward with the 2021 festival in October, we need to finalize the terms of the agreement and would like to see if the 4A is interested in manning the beer sales. In the past, the Knights of Columbus sold the tickets and manned the ticket sale purchases, and we are interested and open to your proposals at this time so that we can finalize our plans for the upcoming festival in October. So we are, our timeline, of course, is get everything in place as soon as possible. I know that the 4A meets once a month, and we already know that we are preparing we will be using your license. So if we can maybe have an idea of your interests and maybe a proposed timeline, so that if it's going to be something that we're going to have to put in place, we can get started on that.
Okay.
Comments, questions, or where we're at on this?
Change your thoughts?
I believe we're already agreed to doing it, right?
Right.
Providing a license is one thing, providing staff.
I think that's what we talked about last time, possibly being able to, us taking it over instead of the nights of the event center, be able to make some money off make the beer sales. Since we're putting the license up, we can find staff to be able to handle it, do it Friday and Saturday.
I think we ran into some manpower issues last year.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the
Year before.
year before.
2019.
We were taking the inventory downtown, and then we were bringing it back to the event center. And that was all city staff doing that. So if we could find some type of contractor or something, how to handle some of those things. I don't think we can make a decision tonight, but the board has voted in favor to work with the Peanut Festival to offer the license.
Right. Right, so where we're at is manning it, you know, are y'all going to come up with a proposal? Maybe it's, you know, I don't know what that would look like even if
I
we.
can talk to the beer company.
Yeah. And I don't think we've talked about pricing either, have we?
No,
No, yeah, we need to
Yeah, it'd be like in-
finalize what that would look like.
Yeah.
because the beer company, the way they do it in the past with Peanut is they'll just unload the beer, whatever's being used, write a check out at the end of the night. We couldn't do that 2019. We had to pay all the beer and they unloaded it, everything, and then we had to take it back to the event center over here. Because we couldn't, they couldn't come drop it off for us. It was basically, we paid for the beer and whatever was left over, we're stuck with. Which we were fine with because we're like, we have a bunch of events coming back every weekend, so. I mean, I think if we're gonna do it, I think we should possibly plan to man it and be able to take those beer sales and whatever we negotiate with Peanut.
Okay. How much time do we need to give her an answer?
When do y'all need an answer by August?
Oh, no.
Way before?
Yeah, if at all possible. I mean, because if, you know, we have to make sure that it's manned, and if not, then we have to figure out how we're gonna man it and how we're gonna combine it with our regular ticket sales, et cetera. So that would be, I mean, this is what y'all, you meet in once a month, or,
Yes.
okay, when is your
By
next
month?
meeting?
By next month, we have,
When's our meeting, the last,
The third Thursday.
third Thursday?
The third Thursday of
we
June?
just look for contractors to be able to staff.
Staffing is the only issue here. That's the issue.
Yeah, that's be the biggest
Visitors around, how we pay for it, we know how to do that, don't you know?
And then the price, I don't think we made any type of,
No,
Price.
we would be doing a whole lot more this time. So the city, of course, would be incurring a lot more expense of staffing. But I think it definitely, with only having two partners in this, it's more for everyone. But that staffing, that's the problem.
so the agreement was just between, I mean, the parties involved would just be the Peanut Festival and the city.
Correct, at this time, yes. So if the meeting is the third Thursday in June, so maybe, Chaz, you can maybe start working on it, and you can contact us, contact myself and Carolyn, and then we can go back and maybe come to some stuff ahead of time that we can bring back to the table for the June meeting. Because if at all possible, I mean, I would like to have an idea where we're moving in June, because then that
So it
leaves
would
us.
be Staffing for the beer tickets, and money handling.
And we're gonna have to
That's
find
two
out if
different
the Knights are gonna loan us the equipment.
That would be. Right, that would,
What do you mean, like the troughs?
Troughs, and they have a ticket, I mean, a person,
Y'all have the, no,
That all belong to them.
and the setup the way they had it.
but we have these small ones here, right?
Yeah, we have troughs here. We have two big, really big ones, and then two small ones. So we have a few troughs here. I mean, I don't think renting one of those cage booths would be a problem. I know they rent those out.
And for the beer, it's by tickets, right? The tickets?
I'm sorry?
For the beer, it's tickets?
it is tickets, correct. Yeah, and ideally, we would keep it between the two parties. Because like you say, it's going to be a better bottom line.
Yeah, biggest thing is really coming down to getting staff, working on getting staff now.
Do we work with two distributors?
Yep, just Silver Eagle and Glaciers, that's it. They do everything now.
I was going to suggest looking into temp
Temp
staff,
agency.
just for the staff, just for them.
Yeah, I have a few temp agency numbers too that can do that. They just stand behind the bar and hand out the beers that we can. CABC certified people. That's another thing we can do. and make it easier on us.
So we can give her an answer maybe in June?
Yep.
Okay.
Table the item to June, sir?
Right, and the expenses would come off of the top, off the sales. So, you know, if we have to hire people, you know, all of that would be included, and that would come off before we got into the split, so the percentages.
I have all the paperwork when we ordered the beer for the last time, so.
Are we gonna have, we're gonna have to also figure out how we're gonna pay for it and things like that, the same way we had the problem last time.
Yeah, they're actually changing to a different system, so I can ask the beer companies what's gonna be the easiest way to do it.
Okay. Because we're gonna need to work that out with the city. I mean, last time we had to have checks signed and ready to go when they dropped the beer off. And then what was left over, we had to haul out here, and then it sat out here until we were able to.
I'll talk to the main directors for the festival events and then see what's the best way we can do it. What's the easiest way for us to be able to do that.
And I also, we need to make sure the insurance is all set up and in line when we make that commitment. Or that's part of the commitment.
Yes.
Okay, I motion that we table till our June meeting.
Okay. With proviso that he will get the arrangements, come back with a proposal for arrangements that we can manage.
Yes.
Okay, I've got a motion. Do I have a second for that?
Second.
All right. I have a motion and a second to table it until the June meeting and ask our director to come up with a proposal on how to manage the staffing and the payment and stuff like that through the city. All in favor? Okay.
Got it, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, and again, we are, please communicate with me.
Yeah.
And then that way we can, you know, get
What's the
some good
contact number
information.
for you?
210-776-9816.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to our next, the original item A. Brief by facility and events manager.
Thank you.
Or designee, and discussion and possible action by the board about monthly reports related to usage, rentals, tenants, daily operation of the event center, and any changes or actions needed thereto, and the status of any repairs. I'll turn that over to Jess and our city manager.
So as you can see tonight, we're getting pretty busy. Month of March has been pretty crazy. It's been a lot of bookings, like from Monday through Sunday. We've been asking Mr. Joslin here to help us out because we're very short staffed on building flips for parties from Friday to Saturday, Saturday to Sunday. During the week, we've been really busy inside the event center. As far as everything else for the AC, our AC, everything is good. We finally fixed all the issues that we had for that. We spent quite a bit of money on that. We budgeted from last year. So all that's good to go. We are having an issue that we're going to bring up tonight for a double booking that happened. So we wanted to bring it to the board and let the board members know about an issue that happened in 2019 and it's came to 2021 right now that we're dealing with. There was a lot of cancellations. It was just mishandled paperwork whenever we were fully staffed here. And then we had a canceled contract and that's all we had on file. And we ended up erasing that name and rebooking a wedding for that day. So we're in the works right now of working with these two customers.
Okay. So we did the air conditioning, Chase?
Yes, sir.
How much was that paid through hotel motel?
Yes, it was budgeted the year before. We had budgeted because we knew we weren't going to have some events during coronavirus, so we moved We moved it over and we budgeted, I think it was like 25,000. We only spent 18. So we, couple compressors went out, couple motors went out on some of the units up there. I mean, it's about that time, I think it's been 10 years
Yeah.
since we opened up, so they replaced them. Spent some money because they had to bring a crane out and actually lift them up and do some major work to them. But we're all good to go with that, so that was one of the big issues we're having here, and we gotta make sure that that's up and running.
Okay. Talking about repairs, the parking lot, whatever happened with that?
I think it got tabled a couple of times with the council.
Yeah, the council had to kind of, they had to postpone that because of some other stuff that came up. It was, I think, it was before Mr. Johnson.
Yes, you see, like it was, I was at that meeting, see, like the price was too high for the money available. I look at the contract, and there was discrepancy in a very low bid and a very high bid. So I got two contractors to come in and physically come and look at the place and go over the prints, and say it's 23,000 square feet. What they got here, which was the lower bid, is so I said, well, let's measure again. They say that's what it is, but apparently when we measured it, that's not what it was. It was like a 200-something thousand square feet. In the bed that the engineer put in it, most people, when they see a bed, and going to come to a space of square feet, so when they look at it, they you calculate it, they probably come and look at it, and what they were saying was 23,000 cubic yards, CY, no SF. It's a different story. It says, so if we do it by the cubic yard to cover that much territory, then it comes close to a little over $600,000. They say, and I don't include the entrance over there because the trash truck comes through and the heavyweight will damage that. Now, what the contractor came in, he brought another one that's what they do, nothing but asphalt. He said, you don't need to do the base. You don't have to dig all this out.
Just on top?
Because this is very solid. We have to fix the hole that are in, and we can put the contract call for what's inch and a half lay over. He say inch and a half for how many years? Going to guarantee probably within 7 years you have to start doing maintenance. We got to cover ourselves on the warranty for 1 year. We're going to we can do it for the same price for 2 inches to cover ourselves. That if something go wrong, we can say we put more than what the engineer would say. But he was not happy with the engineer numbers of an inch and a half for the traffic that goes in. You know.
How much is, Andy, how much does a street have? I mean, how much is this, how deep is the asphalt on the street?
2 inches.
So they also said there's nothing here but compacted. They said the compacting is very good. That's what this truck going in through there. You don't need to remove this and redo it twice. But the parts that are damaged, they have to be recompacted again. And the issue about the drainage part of it. He said, we will do the driveway, we will do the parking lot. The issue, the driveway is not part of that. On that side, because the heavy truck comes through there. If they want that part done, that's something else. But capturing the water so it migrates the way the highway department said we won't touch that part because there's a lot of issue with water drainage that have to accumulate so you don't overrun into the highway. And that's part of the deal on it. So they will do the parking lot, but they will not touch the other parts. So the bed include that they have to do that part on it.
Well, actually, the worst part is where you come in down there at that far side. I mean, that's getting pretty rugged.
Right. But there's an issue with the water that goes into the retaining pond. They're supposed to have been done to retain some amount of water on it. And so you don't give time to absorb to the ground and not to run over into the highway. So of course, that was back then. Now, the way that everything costs, telling what the number will be now. For construction now, we cannot even find workers at any price. We used to pay $150 a day. They want $200 now if you can find it. $200 a day.
Well, I guess the good news, nobody's gotten stuck out there.
Well, no.
But it's sure, it's not the most convenient situation in the
No,
world.
no. It's a difficult situation, especially when the budget do not cover it, and the amount, the different amount that came in. There was something, I think it was like $800,000. So that guy probably had about the right numbers, or a little bit more to cover any projected cost by the time they take place. But at $300,000, nobody said it cannot be done. Now you have to do all this stuff, it cannot be done.
Well, I think they should have realized that if this ballroom's 18,000 square foot, that is considerably larger than
You see,
23,000
but
square
when they
foot.
read the contract, those guys looked at it and they got in their brain already square feet.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
it's cubic feet.
23,000 square feet. I told them, it cannot be done. He said, well, let's look at it this again. He said, look, I see why. I said, this is not square feet, this is cubic yard.
Yard, yeah.
23,000 cubic yard. And cubic yard got more than
No,
1
that's a
square
2
feet.
inch times the square foot.
Yeah, well, the contract read for inch and a half. They were doing it too to protect themselves from any claim that it didn't hold. So we put more than the engineer requested. So we put in the bond and put in the bond on the engineer responsible because he was the designer. So he won't be liable for any failures.
Well, it doesn't appear to me that there's anything we can do about that at this time.
Not at this time. Now the custom material. I've also noticed the other day, 7/16 4x8, it was $57 a piece when we used to pay $11.
You know, I'd like to have a marquee out there too, so people would know what's going on here.
Right.
We got chairs set up all over the place here, and I have no idea what the meeting's about over there.
And that's what we're working on right now. So we finally got in contact. So in 2018, we were working on a new website just for all the Parks and Recs department, including the event center, where you can type it in and it goes straight to that website. It shows you a calendar, shows you everything, shows the beer warehouse, the event center, sports complex, the pavilions. It shows everything. Where you can click on it, it has its own calendar. Right now, we're working off the city's page. So you have to go through a few steps to see just the plain calendar on there, and it shows month by month what's going on. So it's kind of confusing to go to. So this one, which is called Tyler Tech, we're going to go live pretty soon, where you be able to type in the Floresville Event Center, and it's going to pop its own website. And then you can go to it, it's going to show you the full calendar year, where you can see everything, what's open, what's not open. You can actually go online and get your contract, do your contract, pay online. And it's a 3-day process where you approve it, but you'll be able to do everything from a computer now. We'll still have access. We're going to work on where people need to do paperwork, or the people that don't have access to online, that we'll be able to have them come in still. But it's going to make it easier for finance and for us over here to be able to do. I think it's going to be a good system to help get our name out there as well, and people to be able to see
Is it going to
visually.
include the
Sports complex.
sports
yes.
complex
Yes.
and the beer warehouse?
Yep. All the venues, all the parks, everything we do is just going to make it so much easier, instead of us having books of paperwork.
I think
And, you know, it's just, and then when auditors come in, it just turns into a mess.
Hopefully it prevent the double booking too.
Yes, that's what it's gonna be able to do too, where we're gonna be able to see it, a hard copy and a copy on the, online.
You know, it's a shame that happened, but I gotta admit to you, I think it's remarkable that it hasn't happened before. You know, in 10 years it hasn't happened, so.
Well, I think what happened too, I mean, we had staff here, and then coronavirus hit. A lot of staff is gone. We're very understaffed here.
Yeah.
So that's a big issue too. It's been through several hands, so we don't know contract got lost or what the situation was. So we went by what we had.
Okay, other items? Ms. Boff, I know you're here for something.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to?
Well,
Yes.
she's,
She's
right,
on.
I guess we could, it's gonna be by its nature kind of a citizen comment thing. I don't have an agenda item for that, but
Well, I think she's talking about rentals and daily
Yes.
operations.
well, I think we could fit her under A, but
Yeah.
it's a little.
She came in after we had citizen comments.
I'm sorry, I don't get out of there till like 6.
No, I understand, I
I'm sorry.
understand.
I want to accommodate you if we can. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay, so I understand that David Hernandez with TNT wanted to, well, I don't know if y'all had approved his proposal for Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 to 10 is my understanding for 2022. And it conflicted with what we've been doing here. So I was asked to take a look at our paperwork to see if there's any way that I could cut down my hours of usage. So I understand that this is growing. And after this, there'll probably be more conflict. It just won't be David and I because it's called growing pains. I understand that. And I do understand that for this community center to be successful, that we need to try to accommodate as many people as possible. With saying that, I went through everything and I can show you what I came up with, if y'all would oblige me.
It's waiting out there.
You what?
It's waiting.
So in the spring and in the fall, we do volleyball and after-school program and soccer. But soccer doesn't, have anything to do with the center. But it's really the volleyball. It's not going to affect the after-school program, but basically the volleyball. So what I did was I had what we did in 2021. And we had our games on Mondays and Tuesdays, and practices were Wednesdays and Thursdays. So I had worked with Ches this last year because Mr. Hernandez wanted to have the time in. And I think we had come to, didn't we do an agreement for him to come in from 8 to 10 on Tuesdays? And then I don't think there was any accommodation for him for Thursday, right?
No, it was just Tuesdays.
Just Tuesdays. So that was no problem. I had my little guys in here on Tuesdays. They're easy to get out quick. Their time on the court isn't as long as the older. So we did accommodate him for that. But with him wanting to do a Thursday, like I had mentioned to Ches and to Mr. Caldwell, that we only use the gym 18 weeks out of the year, 4 days a week. And that's when we're doing practices and that's when we're doing games. So of course I wanted to see if we could get around that. And everybody thought no. So I've got another proposal here. So what we can do is, if Mr. Hernandez would consider an 8 o'clock on Thursday and an 8 o'clock instead of 7 on Tuesday, what I can do is cut my Thursday volleyball practice, just double my nets. So before, we'd have each team have their own net. So the coach can be on, just like it is in high school. The coach is on the other side, they're throwing the balls over. So we're not going to be able to have that luxury. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the like-kind leagues on the team. Like we'll have 2 youth leagues. where the coaches will just work together and the teams will basically be scrimmaging and they'll all be on one net. I don't know how that's gonna work, I haven't done it before, but, you know, we're gonna do what we can do. So that'll take care of that. Over the summer, we do basketball. So our basketball games are on Tuesdays and on Thursdays. Tuesdays, I can do the little guys. The little guys' basketball practice is a lot shorter in time. So we can move them out of here and it can be available by 8 o'clock. Thursday, there's no way I can cut that down because we do up to 15 and 16-year-olds, and they're here till late. We don't usually get out. The games usually end on Thursday nights around 10. Long day for me. But, so my suggestion is if we can take that Thursday and just have the basketball games on Friday, then that'll open that Thursday up for Mr. Hernandez. So then he can have his Tuesdays and Thursdays for 2022, but I'm hoping that he would cooperate and let us, and back that 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
I've not spoken to the gentleman about this, so this would be between him and Chad.
Okay.
I did meet with him, me and Chaz met with him.
With this proposal?
No, I have not spoken to him at all about this. It's just, he was wanting Tuesdays and Thursdays, and y'all had already agreed to give him 2 days. I don't think they were set days, but the Tuesdays and Thursdays were the days that he set on. So,
The
Chaz will
problem.
have to discuss this with him.
The problem, gentlemen, is if he doesn't want to work with us, and if you guys want to have him coming in here, then we will have to shut our program down. Because the whole reason we're here is for the summer day camp, our after school, our volleyball, and our basketball. And we've been here for, I think this summer 10 years or 11 years now?
Well, the center's only been open 10, 11.
Okay, so,
This is
then I'm gonna
11.
say we've been here 10, because I wasn't here the first year it was open. So we've been here for 10 years, and we have been paying our rents and everything, trying to help out, but I've cut it down as much as I can cut it down.
I
So
would
your
say
plan
that-
works, you do the one Friday and he come in 1 hour late.
On Thursday, he can come in,
There's one that he will be, instead of 7, 8
just
o'clock.
over we'll have to set it up at 8 o'clock the whole way, because, right.
Right.
But the only way I can give him Thursday over the summer is to have our basketball games on Friday night,
Friday.
which could hurt us because a lot of people like taking off.
Yeah,
for
we
this-
have
I know,
right.
but
He's probably not getting done at 10.
like I don't.
Get it done a little bit.
Okay, my thought on this would be have Tom and Chaz go to him and ask him and put this proposal forth to him. Then we will come back to you and tell you where we can go with it.
Okay.
And, I mean, obviously, we can't do that tonight, but I do appreciate you coming up with an idea.
Well,
And trying to be ready to schedule.
I understand the importance of this center, and I don't want to lose it, yet I don't want to lose my programs either. So, and by the way, just for your information, I just wanted to remind you guys that we are an at-risk youth organization. We do give out scholarships, and so far in 2021, with all of the kids that are signing up for our summer day camp right now, we're a little over 20,000 out for scholarships, and we're not even close to our year end. So it is a popular program that is very needed in this community, and we will have a lot of parents that are going to be upset. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Y'all have a good weekend.
You too, man.
Okay, Is there anything else we need to talk to under item A? You say our bookings are significantly,
Oh, yes. We are booked the whole summer, bunch of graduation parties, weddings, everybody's coming back, September, October. We're getting booked almost the whole year out. We're almost booked out. On weekends and weekdays, we still have safety trainings, like today, Lavernia is out there doing a athletic banquet today. And they've been in here, I think, 5 times this month already. So it's good. I mean, people know we're open, so we're getting calls and we're making it happen. I know we, last year we budgeted to do a painting on the building. We used that to fix the AC because this place does need some maintenance work. It does need some painting. It needs, we talked about the parking lot. We fixed the AC. So it's 10 years. I mean, it's wear and tear. Even some of our tables now are just, just wear and tear. We try to fix them, repair them. We're doing our best to try to keep what we can.
well, we're at an age where we understood when we started we were going to have to do maintenance. And luckily when it was new, we didn't have that great a problem, but now we are getting to the age where we do. So that's something we have to take into consideration. Okay, anything else under item A that anyone on the board members like to bring up or anything like that? Okay. By the way, who do we have working out here and what is their schedule sort of?
So staffing wise, it's just me. I'm the only full-time employee here in the event center. We do have a contractor that's part-time and he works here. He's pretty much doing this full-time here and everywhere else. And then we have Jerry that's full-time at the sports complex, which I use him up here too. So we're very short-staffed.
How do we get the thing cleaned up?
Either Jerry or a contractor, or we use city staff. So that's what we're doing right now. So we're just, wherever we can get out here, we're bringing out here to help.
Is there any help coming in the future on that?
Well, we're starting our budget meetings with the department heads. Ches has an appointment already with the finance director, so we'll sit and talk about that. He and I have been talking about restructuring the city as a whole to be able to maintain more organized events and stuff. Possibly creating a Parks and Rec department that he can oversee, that'll manage multiple areas to include the center, the sports complex, and they would fall and report to him. They'd have other duties other than just the center, but he could manage it to schedule in a manner that would help out for the center as a whole in the sports complex.
So I met, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
but to go off that, I met the director for the Pleasanton Parks and Recs.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, when I talked to him, I like the way they had their structurally, sound like the way they had it ran. They had maintenance people, they had coordinators, so they had where they did the whole Parks and Recs. And that's what we had talked about, maybe possibly, I know Danny's always talked about this as well too, doing this, about bringing that here where we're just strictly Parks and Recs and we just, we build a team off of that so we can be able to handle everything we need. If it's grass cutting or building flips or whatever it is, just we can have a team to do
The
it.
Parks and Rec Department out of this building.
Yes, and I think that if you remember back in the day,
We had talked
you
about
said
that.
there was a sign that said Parks and Rec Director here. So we're focusing at that to present to the board, of course, and then to the city council upon approval. But that would allow us to utilize all our facilities at the best ability possible. Having an event here, an event outside, an event at the sports complex, and further on down to include the park, the old park. And
One of the things that has helped us in the past is that we've had a first-class facility and it was kept up to that standard. And that's why people want to come here, and that's why people want to book here. And that part over there, the athletic fields, the park, the whole thing, the beer warehouse, if we can keep them under, that type of standard, then I think we'll continue to have our bookings. But if it falls below that standard, our bookings are eventually going to fall too.
And with this system, if we were able to do the Parks and Recs department, it's going to make everything so much easier to handle.
I think that's a reasonable way of looking at it and doing it. This building has a lot of benefits, but one of the things it doesn't do is manage, it doesn't run itself.
Yeah.
And it doesn't repair itself. We've got to do that for it.
And we have to be cognizant that it's not an 8 to 5 operation.
No.
So that's where,
And,
that's
if
where
it's
the-
2 o'clock in the morning and we have to have a quick turnaround for the next morning, if we have something out here at night and we got to be here at 2 o'clock in the morning, quit and ready for something at 8 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah, we had several of those.
We have those.
and that's going to happen. That's the kind of business we're in.
And that's what we're trying to do, is keep the business, that's our goal, is to keep the place busy as possible. I know you hear in the gym right now, we're booking as much as we can. We're trying to squeeze every day we can out of there and every time. That's what we need to be able to keep this place and be able to pay the stuff that
Well,
we.
you only have to look at the AT&T Center. They go from an ice rink to a rodeo arena to a basketball court in 48 hours sometimes. So those are things that we have to anticipate.
We've been in talks with individuals that want to do that. They want to do a nice rink here, so we have to figure that out too pretty quick.
Well, there's a lot of things involved in that, but to do any of that, we're going to have the staff to keep it up. And when we had the rodeo arena, or when we had things out here, nobody wants to go to a place that's full of garbage. So all that stuff has to be picked up. I noticed the other day, however, though, that after the baseball thing, I was really surprised how clean it was down here. I walked through down there after the baseball people left, and there was a little bit of stuff on the ground, but it was remarkably clean for what I thought it would be after having that many people here.
Yeah, Jerry does a good job. He stays back there full time, and then, of course, we work with the Little League and then our Mr. Hamilton that comes in, where they help clean up as much as they can too, because it's part of their agreement. They want the place to look clean as well and they want to present themselves in a way too. So it works out. We can all just keep working as a team like that. It just makes it so much easier.
What are we doing about utilities? And, Roy and I were in here a while ago, and it was 50 degrees in here. I swear, it was cold in here.
Yeah, they're all set. They're all permanently set on 72. They don't go any lower than that. It's just in a small room like this, more confined, so it gets cold in here. The wheels on the wall, they're just temporary. You can adjust them, and it's only an hour and a half, and they come back. But that's another thing that I'm working on right now. I'm trying to get trained out here, because our system is out of date, obviously. We talked about this a couple of years ago. We were looking at that, but it's completely down now. So we can't even log in to
Our computer system?
Yeah, it's completely down. It's just showing question marks. And I talked to Barrett Sons, but they passed it on to train after they fix everything. We thought it would go back up, but it's actually trained. It needs to come out good. But
Well, that's partly because when we built it, it was designed to be zone.
yeah,
And now it's pretty much a wide open process.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, that's why we got 24 units up on top.
Yeah.
And if we didn't do that, it would be. Okay, we'll move on to, if no one has anything else, we'll move on to item C. Discussion and possible action related to the event sponsor by 4A Corporation marketing strategies in roping arena and attracting promoters. We had talked about
It's reopening, not opening. He's
Oh,
looking at
reopening, I'm sorry,
reopening.
I was reading that thing, I had that in my head. Reopening, yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm like,
What are you talking about? It's an old agenda item. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
That was my fault, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm opening that up to discussion.
I just wanted to, I know we discussed it, that you were still, the last time y'all took an action to have me and some city reps look into it, and I think that's what we're still doing. Is that what you think, Danny? Danny's been helping too.
With the promoters?
Yeah.
But yeah, but I think we voted that on the.
You did?
Yeah,
You did.
that wasn't our minutes.
It is,
Yeah.
but I mean, I just put the item on, here again, to maybe discuss more, or,
Well, actually, what I texted you was that we need to take advantage of those crowds that are coming here to the sports complex, baseball fields and volleyball, to have some type of event going on inside here. And Andy and I talked about it, maybe some type of market or something.
definitely.
Did anybody notice how many people we had that cook-off down there?
Yeah.
I have never seen so many barbecue pits in one place in my life.
Yeah.
There were 64 teams, I think.
And it seems to me that if we're speaking of the arena now, if we're looking at doing something with it, we're doing things out here with the baseball, that's things that are outside. If we could put something inside to match those with something like a barbecue cook-off or a chili cook-off, something like that, that would be a.
So I talked to Mr. Hamilton, we're just waiting, he's been waiting for Little League just to end their season, he doesn't want to interrupt any of their days. So right now, we're working on a date that he's gonna be here with a bunch of teams
Okay.
from all over. So I let him know about the plan for the market days we had discussed.
Yeah.
Maybe starting off with that, and then eventually the next one, go bigger,
Yes.
to make sure we have
And
the
with
dates.
Andrew, see when, as far in advance as he can,
Yeah,
so he can plan out.
yeah.
Yeah, we
We
have people
also-
that want to do a market days for
Okay.
that, but they want to coordinate when the
What
ball
that-
people.
Yeah, definitely. So I told him to give me a date where he's gonna, right now, he's just been everywhere else. He hasn't came here because of Little League, which, I mean, he's not, he just wants to be here where has the whole fields to himself.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's what he's supposed to let me know on some big dates for the summer and then before school starts. And then I talked to Ben, and me and him met with Mr. Juan Macias. So we scheduled a day when we're looking to do a powwow in August, right before we school. So Mr. Macias is ready to go. He's excited. He's already working on it right now. We were just talked about it in my office for a little bit, and he already made a flyer. So I booked him down for that day. He's all in. He said we can do a market days. So if you have somebody in mind that host the market days, and he says that won't bother it, but they do their powwow like all day. I think it's from 9 to 10 o'clock at night. He
Are they
goes,
going to
Music and
inside? or
inside.
video?
It's gonna
Okay.
be inside, and then vendors and stuff will be half inside and out. So that's what we're coordinating with, so he's excited.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, so
The
he's,
market square, they'll have the dancers and the booths are
Yeah.
around.
yeah, because they're real particular, like, they wanna focus on their tribes, their native cultures, everything but he
Well, I'd like
said,
for them not to forget our man out here, or
Yeah,
man or
definitely.
woman, whatever.
so he's gonna give us some food vendors that he knows that sells like native foods. He don't mind us bringing in other cultural foods, they don't mind that. But we're working with him right now, and he's all for it. So we got a date scheduled, and we're looking to jump on. That'll be an event here for the.
Well, that's real soon, so we need to start
That's real
pushing
soon,
it.
yeah. Yep, so Mr. Macias is supposed to give us all the budget costs, everything like down to this. So we're waiting for him. He just made the flyer, and we're like, hey, we need to budget what we plan to
You
do.
know, that almost sounds to me like we could develop our own version of the Folkline Festival.
Yeah.
So
I
he
mean,
wants
we've
to,
got- we've
he wants
got-
to do this every year, reoccurring.
We've got German, we've got Irish, we've got Polish, Czech,
Yeah.
not just Hispanic, but we've got black, we've got everything
Yeah,
here.
that's, Chip
And
said
we
they
can
on that.
develop that into a multicultural event.
August 14th. That's August 14th, right?
Yes.
I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, he posted a flyer, right? That's what we saw. We were like, hey, we were just talking that we needed a budget. I was like, we need a flyer?
Well, things are open up, people want to do stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going, I mean, they'll
Mhm.
do.
Yeah, it's
And I think this is a perfect time, like you're implying there, people have been cooped up for a year now.
So we even talked to him, 'cause this is right before school starts. It's literally the weekend before school starts. So we even talked about implementing, like doing something like for kids in need, backpacks, school supplies, and they're all for it. So we can turn this into a pretty big event for the city in the 4A. So I'll, yeah. So he's supposed to give us a budget of what it costs to do the powwow. And then we're gonna go for there. And then EDC has decided to, because we didn't do the 4th of July event, they want to help out and do this event too, and be a part of it. I think he's supposed to bring it to y'all. He's supposed to bring it to you guys. So
There was a meeting today.
he's supposed to bring it to you guys. So we were just waiting for him to get numbers and everything. So
Well, I think the word is synergize and work together. on all this
It's
stuff.
looking good again.
yeah, we're busy. We're busy. I'm over there in Andy's ear trying to ask for help every day. So, but I gotta
You're gonna see
go
some
pick up my
more
kids
stuff
at
coming,
7.
too.
I do gotta pick up my
You
kids
hear about
at
some more
7.
stuff, so. Is there anything else on item C then?
I don't have anything under item C other than that. I
Yeah,
think
just the market.
we just need to keep
Yeah.
pushing, and if you need more help, we'll ask for volunteers. There are people probably could help doing that.
Yeah, I talked to the judge. I let him know if any kind of community service will be grateful. They started coming here and there. We can't depend on them, but I mean, it's help that we can use.
You know, I want to kind of mention the idea of volunteers. That's, the volunteers in this community have always pulled us through. When we built that park down there, it wasn't just the city. I mean, we had volunteers who came out from Chevron and did all the grading on that old park down there. And that wasn't done, we didn't have to pay for that. Chevron donated the equipment and those men donated their time. There's a lot of things that volunteers can do, and if you need somebody to answer the phones or help with giving tours of the facility, that's something a volunteer can very easily do. Yes, you have something?
Yes, sir, if I might add, just speaking to the volunteers, I know at National Honor Society at high schools, those students who graduate and then they just have to have service hours.
Yeah.
So reaching out to local high schools might also be an option there for volunteer work.
Right.
Good idea.
And they're not, retired teachers. I'm an area officer and retired teachers. They're looking for volunteer hours.
They're good kids.
And those people are resources.
Carolyn's on budget.
They would be able to do
Yeah,
tours,
yeah,
they
I'll
would
get it
be
going.
able to show
Yeah.
people
She's gonna bug me.
the
I'll get with
facility
you. I'll get a whole plan.
and things like that,
I'm done with you.
And then
and
David,
they'd be
too.
glad to do it a
Continue
couple
on.
hours a week, I imagine. And I would be glad to bring that up to them. But volunteers in this community have always, we ran a whole EMS and fire system here for years, until just a couple of months ago with volunteers. And I think we need to rely on those volunteers and ask them, because a lot of us retired people would like to do things. They like to get out in the community, they like to feel like they're still useful. People that taught school for 30,
Thank you. I'm
30
80 and still volunteering.
Yeah, 30 and 40 years teaching school. They don't want to just stop and do nothing. And I think that we can use those people and foster volunteers. And that's a great way to put high school kids with older people and things like that. That's a great thing to do. And you never know when one of these older people may have a big impact on some kid. Okay.
All right.
If there be no other
There's no.
motion to adjourn, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn.
All righty. Okay, I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor? We'll see you next month. folks.
See you next
All right.
month.
It's done.
1,900 hours, we got it.
That military's coming out.